What's up, tea drinkers? Who's ready to spill? Welcome to The Tea with KG, hosted by your girl, Kaylee Grace. Here you'll find your weekly boost of real talk mixed with laughter, healing, and all of those vulnerable, messy moments in between. The Tea with KG is a safe space for you to show up exactly as you are. We are here to share real-life stories from around the globe and be a community of love, joy, and celebrating life. This is a real deal show, so there will be coarse language and sensitive topics discussed. The most beautiful stories oftentimes emerge from the darkest of places, and we're here to explore it all. There's room for everyone at this tea time, so grab your drink of choice, spark it up, or just relax and soak it up. Cheers, and let's spill. What's up, tea drinkers? We are back with another episode of The Tea with KG. I'm your host, Kaylee Grace. We are here to spread the sparkle, and I have the honor of not one, not two, but three incredible ladies joining me on today's very, very special episode. I am so excited, so honored. We have a fan favorite back. We've got Shauna Burns-Thomson, our resident sexpert in the house. So for all of the loyal listeners, you know her well. She's our Sex with Shauna series girl, and we go through all of the things. But if you are new here, make sure you check out those episodes. She's our Fraser Valley Sex Therapist, so she's back with us. And if you have been tuning in for a minute, you're definitely going to know the name Intimate Wellbeing. So Shauna, for all of our episodes, she always comes packing. She always has amazing giveaways. Compliments of the ladies at Intimate Wellbeing. So I'm super excited to bring all our forces together. So we've got Cass and Leah here. They are joy seekers, and I would say they're in the right place because we are all about the joy up in here. So huge, huge, huge thank you to all three of you for being here with me today.
Thanks for having us.
We're excited to be here. We keep hearing Shauna talk and we want to contribute.
Absolutely. And this is the space for it. I'm so excited. So if you are new here, Intimate Wellbeing is a women-led Canadian-based sexual wellness company. And to start this episode off, a little birdie named Shauna told me that we are coming on the year of Intimate Wellbeing being fully live. So to start off right, we wanted to take this moment and cheers you guys and celebrate. So I have some water in a mason jar here, but we all have our little drinks. So all the listeners,
cheers our joy.
They've got lube. That's even better. So cheers to you. And Shauna, if you want to say anything, floor is all yours.
Yeah, I was thinking about what I was going to say, and I was getting emotional even thinking about it coming on here, because I've said to the ladies so many times, and I've said it on your episode so many times, that you guys are just changing the world, and you are busting that glass ceiling and breaking down so many barriers. And it has been amazing to be able to come alongside you through this journey and just to take part in all of the joy that you're spreading and all of the excitement that you're creating and shame that you are breaking down. So my cheers, my glass goes up to both of you, because it has just been a hell of a year, and I can't wait to see everything that's going to come from this point going forward.
Thanks, Shauna.
Welcome.
I can't believe it's only been a year. Like when Shauna first brought you to my attention, I was like, these ladies are pros. Like they've been doing it forever. Like that's the vibe I got, which is incredible. That it's only been a year. Like what? And it's so funny because I feel like my journey, I just passed the year mark. Shauna, I know you've been a sex therapist for a hot minute, but diving into what we're doing, I feel like we're all just like in the beginning stages of what we're doing, and I love to see it. And I also love even more like the power of all of us coming together, because that's what's up. And I just think it's incredible.
Empowered women empower women. And
yeah, they do.
That's been the synergy, that's been the energy we've been rolling on this past year. Intimate Wellbeing is a project of passion that we thought, if we're being honest, right at the get-go, we thought we would be selling vibrators while sitting on a beach drinking margaritas.
Living the dream.
It's still a great dream. It's still a good dream. But day by day, as we created this and continued to develop it, it became much more clear that there was so much more that we wanted to do. A little background, we started Intimate Wellbeing as Coco and Lola. Mm-hmm. We were unfamiliar with the industry. We were unfamiliar with the players in the industry. We did not know what we wanted to do We knew that sexual health and well-being was a very growing business around the globe. I like to say in good times and bad, we just came through not just came through, but through COVID. In good times and bad, people drink and people have sex. And even more so in COVID, there was that intimacy factor and the sexual well-being aspect. So we definitely started out as an online boutique for the midlife woman, and we will lead you why we took that journey, pivoted. But then shortly thereafter, meeting the distributors and the suppliers in the industry, you would say?
Yeah, everyone, as we got into it, we weren't that far into it, but everyone was just so kind and amazingly, you kind of expect, I don't know how to say it nicely, but a seedy kind of atmosphere, or maybe a raunchy kind of atmosphere. And everyone is elegant. Everyone is professional. Everyone is kind. Everyone is welcoming. And it was just like, as we grew into it, we felt better and better about what we were doing. And we felt better that we could put our face to it and put our name to it, because if we can't put our name to it, how can we help other women break the stigma if we're not saying who we are or what we're doing? Like, that's where we changed completely.
For sure. Rewind the clock back last September, actually, we went to the Women's Inspiration Summit in Vancouver, about 900 women. We heard Dr. Carolyn Klein from the West Coast Center for Sex Therapy speak. And that was a defining moment that, wow, there is such a stigma. There are powerful women and men in this industry who are kicking down the taboo and shedding the stigma. We want to be part of that. And that was the impetus to us creating a community. So we very quickly went from an online boutique to a community. And we've got Dr. Lori Brotto from the UBC Sexual Health Research Lab. We've got a whole host of pelvic floor physiotherapists. We have a vagina coach, an intimacy coach, Shirley Weir, menopause chicks. So many who've joined our community.
And our favorite one is?
Is she sitting right here? Is it Miss Shauna?
That goes without saying. We are here because of our connection in this community and the synergy. And we've had dinners, we've had pop-up shops, and one person has a conversation that leads to another connection. Here we are on your podcast because of Shauna, and we're here with Shauna because of the community growing. So it's really freaking amazing and exciting to be part of this.
Yeah. Isn't that incredible? I had goosebumps like the whole time you were talking, and Shauna and I, that's our little confirmation. We're like, woo, yes, universe, I hear you. Oh my God, I can't love that more. And it's just so beautiful. Like when you do the thing that maybe, I say the scary thing, but you know what I'm saying? Like when you branch out into a new territory, you're trying something new, and there is those stigmas, even if there's not, it doesn't matter. If it's scary, if it's challenging, if it's outside your comfort zone, when you do that, and then to see how it grows and pivots and shifts and transforms into what it's meant to be, like, oh, that just gives me life, because it's your story is a perfect example of that. We should dive into, like, give us more like who you are and how you got into this field.
Let's start with what we're not. We're not sex coaches. We don't have any medical background. We have no familiarity.
We are midlife women. We're very good at being midlife women. We both turned 50 within 6 months of each other. And I think that was a bit of an impetus. It feels like, I know you guys are quite a bit younger than us, but it's an impetus. It's a big change. It's a big thing. You feel like you got to have your poop in a group, and you feel like you want to make a difference in the world, because there's only a finite amount of time. And for us to be on this journey where we hope we are empowering women, we hope we are changing lives. Every day we wake up excited to be here.
Oh, I love that.
The seed for me, and I think that was kind of the seedling, which even got us to have a dinner where she had a few glasses of wine, and I talked her into, I didn't even talk her into it. You said, I'm in.
I think the story I heard was like her hand went up really quickly and she's like, I'm in.
So I was 47 years old, sitting in the Airbnb in Vancouver, newly, not divorced, that's still going on, but newly separated. And so that's about 4 years ago. And I'm sitting in the Airbnb one evening listening to a podcast about pleasure, and I had an aha moment. I had been married 23 years, and prior to that, married. And I think it's fair to say that both husbands could say there was a bitchiness aspect to my personality at times. And anyway, this pleasure podcast was like, what the hell? I missed the memo. What the hell is wrong with me? I could have been pleasuring myself all of these years. Like, what the? So the next morning, I researched sex shops in Vancouver, drove up and down a street, saw lingerie in the window. I thought, oh, this is safe. I'm going to walk by there, take a peek in. And then I walked in and I was going through the lingerie, but damn it, there were people in the store and I've never bought a sex toy before. So I don't know what to ask and I'm really shy here. So the store clears and I go like a deer in headlights up to the woman. I said, I don't know what I need, but I clearly need something. So Cole's note, long story short, I bought my first vibrator. I got myself pleasure for the first time at 47 years old. And so then it was very uncomfortable. I was very intimidated. And so going forward with this concept, it was like, how can we turn this into something that's elevated, informative, inspirational?
Right. I mean, we say jokingly that we wanted to sell sex toys on the beach, but you know what? We did almost think that was a big enough impetus in that if we created a site that was elegant, non-intimidating, and kind, it would be kind of a good sell, because a lot of the sites out there are a little bit scary. Like, you don't know what to pick.
I have to bring that up. Like, I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the first things I said to Shauna when I looked at your site. I was like, it makes me happy. It's pretty. It feels good. And I'm very into aesthetics. So for me, that's a big deal. And I think for a lot of people who may not know or be uncomfortable, or it's their first time, like, you want to come into you want to come into a safe place.
True.
And you don't want to be sitting on a plane and Googling a site like this and you see the neon pink vibrating dildo and you know, you want something.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think we did, you know, we say that jokingly, but we kind of thought this would be an okay business. But as we got into it and got more questions from women, as we met more people in the community, we really thought we can make a bigger difference here than just selling. We can put our faces to this business and we can change women's lives. We hope.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't even using your actual names, right? When
actual names.
And we aren't changing their lives, but we are the conduit. We are connecting them to the information, the education, the inspiration. Hell, we have 2 vibrators on a desk today that we're going to, you know, that all in the name of research and development. We have to, you know, give the goods. We can't just say, oh yeah, we've got this collection, because let me tell you this. In the sex toy world and in the lubes and the lotions and potions, there's everything from the Kia to the Bugatti. And so we've carefully curated a collection on our site that is basically the Mercedes up to the Bugatti. Why?
Ooh,
because
I love that. I'm like, yes.
About what you're playing with.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
And that's what I love too. And I laugh, me and Shauna joke too. I'm like, you have the hardest research ever. You must have such a difficult job. But I think that's such a testament to your passion and commitment to this, because like, if I'm hearing someone speak on something, like, I want to know they've used it. Like, I want to know your experience. And sure, that may not be the same for me, but at least it's like a real experience. So I love that you guys test all the products and do the research. And that truly, it's the only way to do it. Because like you said, you can curate your site too. I love the way you described it with the cars. I'm like, oh yes, let's go.
You've got some what's your most expensive vibe that you have on there right now? You've got a high end.
We've got a $19,500 one.
Yeah.
What?
Those don't get ordered.
Did you
ever? But
19,000? Did you say?
19,500.
It's,
you know,
solid gold, I think. It's more of a conversation piece. It's very much a conversation piece.
I need to see this.
Yes, if we did get an order, I think we have to take out like
extra
high insurance to actually get it to be transported, kind of thing.
Yeah. Wow, I did not know that existed. I need to go creep and look now, because that's very intriguing to me. I'm like, what?
Like, that goes on your mantle.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Sorry, Shauna, we didn't send you a tester of that one.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed, though. If you need someone to research a solid gold vibrator, I am your girl.
You're the girl.
Christmas coming.
Yes, Christmas is coming. Oh my God, I love it. Let's touch on, you were saying that though, like Coco and Lola, those were originally, I'll say, your pen names. So what? Yes. How far in did it take for you to shift to not going by that anymore?
It was quite far. Like, we were still saying that in the seminars when we were going, we'd say we were Coco and Lola. We still use them as our email. I think just because we're not very sometimes we're not technologically savvy, so we haven't changed them over.
Neither.
Our signatures
But
are
they're fun too. Like I like it. It
they're
is
fun.
fun.
So that's what we
Yeah.
kind of kept saying. We trying to change. First we said we're Coco and Lola in the seminars, and then it was like, you see us as Coco and Lola, but we're Cass and Leah. Those are our fun online personas. And now we change it,
Yes.
we're Cass and Leah kind of.
For some of the quotes, on our Instagram, if you follow us on Instagram, for instance, we have one quote. It says, "An orgasm a day is better than an apple." And it's signed by Coco and Lola. So,
Hell yeah. You know what it reminds me of? It's like I was am a diehard Spice Girl fan. It's like your Spice name, Ginger Spice, Baby Spice. That's yours.
I love that.
I love that a lot. And it's awesome that, again, it's like the evolution of everything. And as we keep diving in, and I really like the topic we're going to touch on in a bit with shame, because it kind of ties into all of the things we're saying. And I think it's something that's important for people to hear and be aware of, because there is so much shame in so many areas, and there's just no need. That's me and Shauna on this podcast. We're like, let's break those barriers down. We don't need those.
We had that conversation in our last episode too, Kaylee, about when I switched from Lavender Lane over to Fraser Valley Sex Therapy, and just that idea coming into this field again is what's the narrative? What are the narrative that other people are going to tie to me? What is the narrative that I'm going to tie to myself? Right. And being able to say, fuck that, and show up as your authentic self and take on what it is that you want to be taking on, and walk in the walk, talk in the talk. I think when you start living authentically, things just become easy, right? You don't have to have all of the chaos in the background.
Right. Because you're not thinking of a story, because you already are the story.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
By shifting from Coco and Lola to Leah and Cass, I mean, it shows our vulnerability. It shows our courage. And really, at the end of the day, we are wanting to empower others. We want to inspire others to have the conversation, because sexual wellness, anything to do with arousal, libido, desire, orgasm, you name it, is not easily discussed. Although, I mean, it's certainly in certain circles, yes, but we've spoke about it often. I've had friends, 20 years, we've sat in gymnastic stands or went to Broadway shows, and you talk about shopping and the arts and this and that, but you never talk about sex, and or rarely do. And so last spring, when I told her what I was doing, and I told a few friends, I mean, obviously there's still some friends that are like, oh my gosh, that's too much, wow. But for the great part, it's almost like we've given them permission to start the conversation. And as soon as I said what I was doing, it was like the floodgates opened up, and I'm experiencing this, and what do you know about this? And it's the permission. It's the being open, transparent, vulnerable, inspiring curiosity. And I mean, we want everyone to have the best damn sex, with or without a partner.
And I think it speaks to our generation as well. You two are a little bit younger, but I mean, in our generation, no one spoke about sex in the home. No one had sexual health education books at home. So I think a lot in our age group grew up with, I mean, I don't want to say more, but it feels like maybe more shame. I know when we're at the taboo shows and the trade shows, it feels like our generation is a little bit of a tougher sell, whereas your generation, give it.
Yeah, sign me up. Yes. It's interesting you say that, because again, Shauna and I have talked about this. I feel like with my friends, it was always very open. We were always, and I was so, now looking back, I'm so grateful that at such a young age, we were so open with each other, because not everyone's like that. But I found in my home, like with my parents, it was not taught. And I'm like, it shouldn't be a shameful, again, it shouldn't be shameful. It shouldn't be like, oh God, we can't talk about this. Let's just talk about it. It's not saying go do this or that. It's just education, and the more you know, and that awareness. And like you were saying, it's like the permission to be curious and to look and to figure it out. Because think about how long, I'm going to say women, but we'll say people, but I'm going to say women because that's me and I can relate to that. How long women wait to have the full pleasure that they should have always, like all the time.
Well, that's not in the education, right? There might be education about birth control, but there's not education about orgasms a whole bunch.
Right?
Or is there education in our demographic, our age? We missed the memo on the pelvic floor physiotherapist and the entire what happens, what is entailed in that. Through our community, I, being vulnerable and curious, went this past year to the pelvic floor physiotherapist. And there's something to be understood there. Some can do internals, some are not licensed to do internals. So in my experience, I went to a licensed to do an internal. And so part of the process was, okay, now Leah, perform a Kegel. So I did. I mean, let's face it, growing up, you did your Kegels, you had your shoulders back, tits high, good posture, do your Kegels, suck your tummy in, all those things of that generation and days gone by. But so I did it. And she's like, that's it? Like, no, yeah, I think. I was doing my Kegels wrong for the last jillion years. But unless what you don't know, and you don't go. And so you're naive.
Totally. I love that you brought up the pelvic floor health because, like, I feel like even me, I was not aware until recently. And I was like, wait a minute, like, this is a thing. And it's so many women are affected and they might not know that's what it is. If like, again, we talk about this, but like too tight, too loose, like, and you just don't know. You're like, why am I feeling these feelings? And you don't realize it's that. And I'm like, we all need to know about this.
Well, it affects everything. Your whole floor is just connected to like almost your whole body. It feels like when you see and watch like
the
what
core
it's all
canister, right?
Yeah.
And through that appointment, did you know? Here's a stat for you. Women our age should be having 2 to 3 orgasms a week for optimal pelvic floor health. Pleasure aside.
Let's put that on a bus, the side of a bus, seriously.
Well, what you don't know, you don't know. So, I mean, we're just giving you permission now, not only to talk about it, but you should be having at least 2 to 3 orgasms a week with or without a partner for your optimal pelvic floor health.
And we love
that.
We love those stats because I think if it comes even from a little bit of a medical advice, women can still take that in and maybe get rid of a bit of shame and be, well, I'm doing this for my health, you know?
Yeah.
And when we look at that,
a bit more permission. Yeah.
Yeah, when we look at that, that's for pelvic floor health. That's not even to say that it helps with your allergies. It helps with your mental health. It boosts your immune system, your total whole body, holistic health.
Absolutely. Like, and I feel like in, well, North America especially, it's a very stressful place. Like, it's very go, 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 go. Hello, stress reliever. Let's go orgasm. Like,
and Kaylee, we've talked about this before too, but for so many vulva owners, we are holding that stress within our pelvis, right? We are spending more time now than we ever have in sedentary positions. We are not stretching. We are not moving. And a lot of that angst gets held within that pelvic floor. And that's not even to say if you have had any sexual trauma, if you've had any negative sexual experiences, right? Because when you have a negative sexual experience, you tighten up. If you're having sex without lube, you're probably tightening up or causing some pain in that area as well, right? And we hold that, our body holds on to those memories long after they've actually stopped happening.
It's so true. I really hope people take that and remember that, because sometimes it's like, oh, the event is done. Why am I still affected, or why am I still carrying this? And there's no shame in that either. Like, healing is not linear, as we know, and it takes time and different things. So anyone listening, if that resonates with you, just show yourself a little compassion and grace, and just know, like, it may not be an overnight healing process, but you'll get there. More orgasms.
A great place to start.
Yes. We know that we have been connected through our girl Shauna. So how did that all happen? Tell us about it.
Yeah, the two of us went to the Taboo Sex Show. And like you said, we were Coco and Lola, and we were still very new in the industry. So it was such an eye opener for the two of us, because we felt like the vanilla cupcakes of the show. It's a scene. It's a very sex positive scene, but it's a scene. So it was a lot for us to take in, and we learned a lot and we grew a lot, I think. And then we thought, if these people can do this, we can definitely put our names to something for sure. But somehow Shauna saw us through somewhere, and she came to get our lube, and she came and took our lube home. And then she came back and raved about it. And she said she was a sex therapist. And so we just got into an excellent conversation. We talked about all these kinds of things too. And we just kind of vibed with her. At the time, I didn't realize she was 32 years old. I thought she was closer to our age. I was like, oh, awesome.
Not great lighting.
Just a baby.
Yeah. So that was actually my husband and I, it was our first year going to the sex show as well. And this is before I was really, quote unquote, maybe outed as a sex therapist. This was just in February of this year. So I'd been seeing clients and helping clients with sexual concerns, but was scared to really label myself fully as that sex therapist. It was the holistic counselor and sex therapy that was coming out, right? But this was kind of our debut, if you will, to really dip our toes into what the Vancouver sex scene was like. And we were just going to have a good time. But then when I think it was on the advertisements or the sponsor list or something that I saw that there was this lube. And it was funny because Kaylee and I had just recorded an episode shortly before that where I had said that I had to actually travel across the border and bootleg back good lube because I couldn't find a good quality lube that I really loved here in Canada. And they didn't ship to Canada, the company that I had ordered through. So when I got to Taboo and I was like, oh my God, this is a BC company. It is a women-run company. It is organic. It is all natural. It is just all of these fantastic things. We need to fucking go find them. So my husband and I were walking around and we saw you and I was like, oh my God, there's the lube people. So grabbed a bottle and went back to the hotel that night and gave it a try. And I was like, wow, this is the best lube I've ever tried. And I've been advocating
hard. Yeah. Like every Sex with Shauna episode, we talk about that lube and it's the prettiest bottle. It is so cute. I'm just there. I could see it. I was eyeing it up. Yes.
I keep it close by. And it was just one of those things. I think I went back and actually grabbed 4 bottles because our next episode that we were recording, I was like, oh my God, I found the best thing to give to our listeners, because I think there's shame around having to, I'm going to use having to in quotations, but shame in using lube as a vulva owner. This idea that we need to get to the point to use lube. I think for myself anyway, I won't speak for everyone, but for myself, it was kind of one of those originally a last resort, how embarrassing to admit that I need to bring this in, until I actually started doing the research and seeing the impacts. Like we've talked about the stat a million times, but that lube can, give you stronger, better orgasms, or to help you orgasm if you're not orgasming by up to 80%. So like that is an outrageous number. So even if you are orgasming, to be able to strengthen and lengthen and just emphasize all of the pleasure that you're having, and just by adding a drop of lube is amazing. But
it's like sports. You got to train properly, right? Bring in the lube.
Absolutely. And we've all had that really shitty, sticky, gunky, gross lube that doesn't make you feel sexy. And if you're already feeling ashamed to have to use lube, to now feel like you're the back of a dollar store sticker that's been around for too long, it just like, that's not great, right? It doesn't feel good.
Not good. It really is a badge of honor for many, 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 many vulva owners to say, I'm not there yet. I don't need it. Or another popular line at the trade shows and interactions we have is, I don't have a partner. And what we like to say, or with or without a partner, it should not be a need or perceived to be a need. It should be a want for all of your erogenous zones to elevate your intimacy, reduce the friction, and take your sex life to a whole new level.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it's we joke in our house because we keep a bottle between our pillows. So it's like easily, it doesn't even make it to the nightstand. It's like between the pillows at the top of the bed. And anytime I travel, I typically will get the message like, fuck you, you took the lube again. Where are the other bottles? Like we need to restock.
Where's our stash, babe?
Where's our stash? Yeah, because whether it's for couple play, whether it's for solo play, it adds so much for penis and vulva owners alike, right? And I love that. I know we talk so much about how to support the sexual needs of women and of vulva owners, but to see these toys, and I'm a big believer of bringing in items that can be used for all bodies, right? And I think this lube is it is chef's kiss. It is amazing.
Yes.
Shauna has been our best advocate for sure, and we love Shauna, and we just feel like there's so much synergy, even though there's an age gap. When Shauna did her Just Use the Damn Lube Shedding Shame and Embodying Pleasure seminar, we got the most reviews and the best reviews from that seminar. So she obviously resonates very well with any age group. And
absolutely.
And the other synergy is Leah and Shauna have the same birthday.
Yeah, we do. We just realized that the other day when we were talking about being Pisces. We realized that we have the same birthday.
I love that.
But yeah, back to the lube. The elevator pitch, first of all, we'd like to say it's the best damn water-based lube you're ever going to find.
I can
But it doesn't get slippery. It doesn't get slippery.
It doesn't get slippery. It's quite a bit slippery. Don't listen to her. It doesn't get sticky.
Doesn't get sticky. It won't stain your sheets. It's a botanical formula. And we designed it with special ingredients in mind. I mean, yes, there's trace amounts of these ingredients, but with the midlife avatar in mind, there's burdock root, which has traditionally been used as an aphrodisiac, or there's red clover, which has traditionally been used for hot flashes. But this lube really is for everybody. Most importantly is how clean and pure and organic. We like to say what you put on your vulva or in your vagina should be as clean and as pure as what you put in your mouth. And if we say nothing else about this fine bottle of lube,
That's it.
That's it.
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize is how permeable those parts are too, right? So we're trying to get that messaging out as well. Like women are spending hundreds of dollars on their face. Should be paying attention to that skin down there too.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And it's like we were saying, I think it was in our sacred sexuality episode, probably every episode that, but we were like, treat her like a goddess. Like she is a goddess, like treat her right. So I like that because again, I feel like growing up, like there was never talk about, like obviously take care of yourself, but never about being luxurious with yourself in that way. So love that.
And I will add to that by saying it's not take care of yourself, it's clean yourself. The messaging that many vulva owners got is that you keep it clean. It is not for pleasure. It is dirty, right? And when we start associating the parts of our body that are really designed for so much more than just urinating or baby making, right? We can start to break down that stigma, break down that shame, break down those narratives that say that my body is dirty, therefore I am dirty. And I think that for so many of the women that I work with, that underlying narrative is what's coming up.
It's so important that we are having these conversations because it is so refreshing. And even just from our series we've done so far, like the friends I've had who would never talk about this, like they're so much more open now because it's not scary. It's not all those narratives that are in your brain. It's like, no, push that aside, get into it.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah, we keep trying to push that too. I mean, it's hard for us too, but I think if you take your sexual health along with your mental health and your physical health, and it's all a big trio, you got to take care of it all. It makes women maybe have a bit more permission as well, you know?
And the conversation, having the conversation, whether it's a podcast like this, or we've done a few this week, because let me tell you this, in this space, advertising, if you have vaginal pain and discomfort, if you have erectile dysfunction, you will have some of your ads accepted and they will run. If you are advertising for pleasure, rejection. Moreover, we were rejected at a wedding show earlier this year.
Wow.
There is still popular venues and advertising sites where you
don't have sex at weddings though.
No.
Great episode on that, did we not, Kaylee? I think we went into like a whole thing when that happened because I was pretty fired up when
yeah.
So we've had to hit the road and do road shows, the trade shows, and have these conversations because how else do you help inspire and get the word out there other than word of mouth?
Absolutely.
It's like this.
It's so fucked up to me that joy and pleasure is limited. I'm not going to go on this tangent about the world, but issues that's pushed and celebrated. And I'm like, what narrative is trying to be put out there? So we need to just start our own advertising and pleasure baby all the way.
But I think what's really interesting is it's nothing to see Viagra on the side of a bus, right?
Yeah.
It's common. There's the ads on the radio all the time for, I'm hearing right now, a popular clinic down in Vancouver to get dick implants, right? But the second that you start talking about female pleasure, I mean, and this could get me on a patriarchal rant, but looking at, historically, what has sex been marketed to? It's been researched by penis owners for penis owners with the lens of how to pleasure the penis, right? The penis gets stimulated through penetration. Therefore, the vulva must be stimulated through penetration as well. right? When we know that that's also not the case, that only less than 1 in 5 vulva owners.
Clitoris has way more nerve endings than that damn penis anyway.
10,000, right? Within the clitoris alone. And the clitoris is the only anatomical purpose is for pleasure. Less than 1 in 5 vulva owners are actually orgasming through penetration. Yet the entire kind of scope of what we look at, the research of the marketing, is designed around how do we make sure that penis is thriving. So we really,
I think, talk about the clit. Don't talk about pleasure. Do not talk about it, because no. That's you get the stamp of rejection when you try and market that.
Absolutely.
That blows my mind.
Saying, right?
Exactly.
Not only is that just in marketing, but what is that saying about valuing women's pleasure, about valuing women's sexuality, about valuing women's whole being health?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? Is that it comes second, literally.
Yeah.
At all.
I'm still mind blown that they won't advertise that. I mean, I shouldn't be. I always say that. I'm always like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I'm like, wait a minute. Why are you saying that? You know.
Yeah. So, and even certain posts, we get these rejection notices that you need to take this down. Otherwise, only those within your community are going to be able to see your page. So we really have to play.
Yeah. Even in organic posting. So it's not just advertising, like organic ones too.
Yeah.
You had that issue last week, right? When you were, a couple of weeks ago, when you were sharing some clips from the seminars that you've done.
Yeah, and they're just from the seminars. They're just sexual health. Like there's nothing. That's what blows our mind, is that they're just education.
We learned and we're inspired to just keep pivoting and keep having conversations and keep pushing it. And this fall, we have an exciting lineup of more trade shows. We're going to be at the National Women's Show in Toronto, which is 35,000 women. And so we just will keep having the conversation one at a time. Of course, the podcasts and people who follow and share, if one post or one picture or one something can start a conversation, then we've had a good day.
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, we are very all aligned here, because that's how I feel literally with this too. It's like, if this helps one human being, we won, and that's already happened. So we're helping lots of people, and it's just beautiful to tear those walls down and just be like, this shouldn't be weird. It should just be a normal part of our conversation every day.
And across the ages, right? And I think one of the things that I'm noticing in this field, and I'll echo everything that Cass said in the beginning about how kind and welcoming people in this field are. Last week, we all got an email inviting us out just to somebody else's home for like wine and cheese, right? Just to connect. And you lose sight of that competition, I think, within this field, which is really great.
Right. I think everyone is lifting each other up, like, for sure.
Yeah, building that beautiful. Mm-hmm. The vampire, yes. I love it. It's amazing to see communities that truly are kind and supportive, though, because you do see different communities in different realms. It's just not like that. And I'm like, why though? Like it shouldn't be about competition. It should be about what you stand for. Everything you guys said with wanting to empower people and bring out the joy and lessen the shame, like that, at the end of the day, it's like, that's what we're truly accomplishing. All the other stuff is just extra, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Leah and I, we're having so much fun. So maybe we're naive in it and we don't see all the negativity. Like, we find our communities, we love them, and we feel loved. We love them. Like, it just feels like a very nice reciprocal thing that we have going. But maybe we don't get a lot of nasty DMs or emails or anything. Like, it's just, so maybe
we're just here to help you find your joy.
Yeah.
We all get those kind of things. But you know what? There has not been a lot of negativity in the past year for us, but maybe we're just happy people. But I mean, there has not. Like, I think the only tough thing for us is we'd really like to scale and grow and advertise, and just having that is just kind of, it just pisses you off a little bit. But
for sure, it's like limiting, right? And it's like limiting what? Limiting joy. I feel the same way as you, though. I think when you cultivate that love and joy, it attracts those energies to you as well. I feel the same way. I've been very blessed and grateful just with this space as well, in this community. And it's awesome to see it, because it is so welcoming and open. Like, there's been so many different types of conversations had, and just the listeners, they're here for it. And I'm like, yes, enlightened people, let's go. Let's do this.
Love it.
Well, that's where my brain was going with that, was to back around here eventually. But talking about, having these conversations across the ages, because we can often feel like we're sort of in a silo because the conversations aren't happening around us, that we feel like we're in this on our own. right? That we don't see others necessarily having the same struggles, having the same insecurities. So we don't talk about it. We shut in. And, the conversations that I'm having with Cass and Leah, I'm also having with my clients in their 40s and their 30s and their 20s. And I'm having with them with my preteen daughter, right? Not necessarily in the same context or with the same information, but still looking at, what are the things that are popping up that you feel ill-equipped to deal with, right? Because these are conversations that I'd never had. And we're seeing that just the impact of the lack of conversations or the one-sided conversations maybe that are rooted in that guilt and shame and fear that stick with us through the years and through the ages.
Yeah, I am so excited that you just said that about with your preteen daughter, because I don't have human babies yet, but when I do, I don't want there to be the same feelings I had where I felt scared to talk about it, and I just wanted to be open. And Shauna, I commend you so much for making that ripple effect happen for the next generations, and that's just beautiful. So props to you, Mama.
Thank you. They're not always easy conversations, and we laugh about it. I mean, on the last episode, we laughed about how my son found my Fun Factory Vim and wanted to use it as a massage gun because his muscles were sore. Right after we had a conversation about the O-Nut and what the O-Nut does. And the other day we were, I was actually taking some photos of Okanagan Joy at the beach, and my son's like, "Oh, what's this? Can I have some?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. And this is what it's for." And he's like, "Is it weird that you told me what that was for?" Like, only if you make it weird, kiddo, because, this is conversations. Like, sometimes our hands are dry and we need a little bit of moisturizer, and sometimes our genitals are dry and we need a little bit of lube. So, you use what's on hand.
We think that the magic wand is only good for massaging us. So we agree with your son.
Fair enough.
The comparison, though, you did the comparison?
We had the magic wand, and we gave her the Vim from Fun Factory.
Yes. I will say the Vim has become my go-to, and it died on me the other day, and I had to go back to my magic wand because it still had a charge, and it died at a very inopportune moment. I will say that. So going from the height of my Vim to the magic wand was a bit disappointing.
Wow.
So,
sad stories.
Yeah, it bumped it down a notch.
So you all know that I couldn't have Shauna and the beauties at Intimate Wellbeing here without a giveaway. Y'all knew this was coming. If Shauna's here, there's always a giveaway. So Shauna, what do the viewers and the listeners have in store?
Well, I couldn't have the ladies join us today and not have them bring my favorite product. And they have been so wonderful at just getting this into the hands of so many people. So this month's giveaway will be another bottle of Okanagan Joy that we will be shipping out, as well as a copy of one of my absolute favorite books, which is called Come As You Are from Dr. Emily Nagoski. It is so accessibly written, and anything as a vulva owner that you need to know about what's going on down there, what's normal. And she will be very adamant in saying it's all normal. We just need to start breaking down the shame and having these conversations. Fantastic book. So I'm really excited to be able to get this off to you. So I think we will do that draw October 1st. So if you want to get in on that draw, please DM myself or Kaylee with Find Your Joy.
These ladies are joy seekers, so we're all about the joy. And in general, in life, we love the joy. So I think that's the best thing you could DM anyone, but specifically us if you want to get on the giveaway.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Awesome. So I want to know what's coming up in September. Are there any panels?
We do have a campaign. It is called Find Your Joy, but you have to wait to hear about it a bit more. We will touch on why we call it Find Your Joy. So that is our tagline, and it's been our tagline from the beginning. And there is a book out there, Simon Sinek's Find Your Why. So it's kind of figuring out who you are and what makes you tick. So our Find Your Joy is about women finding what makes them tick in the bedroom more and what brings you pleasure, because everybody's different. Shauna's magic wand doesn't work for the two of us. It's all about finding what works for you and what brings you joy. And that's why we called it Okanagan Joy. So that is coming up, that special campaign that Shauna is hinting to, but we don't want to give it away till September 8th.
And we will be launching it on our Instagram, and it will be a hashtag Find Your Joy. So that's about as much as we can give you right now, but it will be exciting. And I think it's got some pretty creative elements to it.
for
Ooh,
sure.
I like it. It's teasing us a little bit till we get there.
We should also mention that we are, September 8th will be our official birthday celebration. We have our season 2 of our community. So on our site, yes, we've got all of these medical experts and saucy sexperts, but approximate every second Thursday in the evenings, we have webinars. And they're about 45 minutes long. And the professionals in our community, one of their struggles and challenges on their day-to-day basis in their office is they've got one-on-one clients, and they get a lot of the same questions. They give a lot of the same information. And so this is an opportunity to share that information to a much larger audience. And so we're very grateful for everybody's enthusiasm. And again, it goes back to pelvic floor, arousal, libido, orgasm, better sex through mindfulness with Dr. Lori Brado, communication, sex toys, you name it, we've got it covered. We listen to our community of listeners. We try to touch on what else they want to hear about. And so season 2 starts September 14th, and all of the information with that will also be up on our social media, so long as nothing is rejected.
This
What
is
I
true.
love about these seminars as well is you have the opportunity to come on and get the information. You can have your camera on or off. So if you're looking to get the information to dip your toes in, but there's still some of that shame or secrecy that you don't necessarily feel comfortable being present or going out to a live event, this is accessible. Do it from your pajamas. Nobody is there to judge you. You're just getting great quality information from the professionals, right? We've had like such a great lineup that you guys have put out last year, and I'm so looking forward to the lineup that you have coming up. I'm excited to be part of that lineup as well. And just looking at all of the great information that we can get out there to keep breaking down the walls of the shame and the stigma.
Because we're not going anywhere, advertisers. You can try and stomp on our joy, but we're not going anywhere.
Absolutely.
Coming for you.
Yeah.
We talked about it being back to school season, and I don't know about anybody else, but I know for myself, it can become really easy to fall out of routine in the summertime. Things are just chaotic. You're around, you're not working out as much, you're not meal prepping as much. Maybe you're eating out at restaurants more just because of all the willy-nilliness. And one of the things that I'm finding with so many people is that you also fall out of your routine with sex as well. So one of the fun little freebies that I've got crafting up right now is a sexy September PDF. And it is just a nice little ticky box checklist, because I love ticky box checklists because that's the way my brain functions as an overachiever. I like to be able to cross things off. So it is just a ton of options for different intimacy acts, whether that's solo, whether that's with partner or partners, and also working to normalize some of those things that come up during sex or intimacy that we don't talk about because they are embarrassing. But to add those to the list, it was so important to me that we did bring that onto the list, because for things like farting during sex, which can be a mortifying experience that I'm sure we've all been there in one capacity or another, but we don't talk about it because holy fuck, I can't let somebody know that I fart. Never mind that I fart during an intimate.
Girls don't fart.
Girls don't fart, right? We just read sparkles.
Yeah, we put glitter.
Yeah, but being able to check that off and say, you know what, I did that too. And I could be there mindfully present in that moment and move forward. We can laugh about it. Sex doesn't have to be serious. And we've talked about this so many times that when we can call play back into sex and call play back into intimacy, that's when we start having better sex. Because I'll tell you, if you're struggling with low libido right now, there's a good chance that it's probably because you're not having sex worth having. Right? If you're not wanting sex, I don't particularly want to go to McDonald's because McDonald's doesn't make me feel good. Right? So I avoid it. Sex can be the same way. And if you're not having sex that's enjoyable, which for many vulva owners, again, if we're focusing just on the penetration, we're focusing on having sex without lubrication, all of these things, that we're probably just not having the best sex we can be having. So my goal is to help you come up with just fun little ways to spice things up a little bit, keep things up as the temperatures start to go down. Ooh. So if you want to get in on that, I do have a link in my link tree to that. Just sign up for my newsletter on my website, FraserValleySexTherapy.com, and I'll be sending that out September 1st. And then September 24th, I will be at a live women's wellness event here in Abbotsford. So for any women, any vulva owners that are here in the Fraser Valley, please head on over. I've got the information on my Instagram. So check that out. Come by. It's really small, low key. It's at a cute little tattoo shop downtown Abbey. And it's going to be practitioners in the health and wellness space where it's not salesy. One of my close friends, who is so lovely, decided to put it together. And her biggest thing was, I don't want the Tupperware. I don't want the Norwex cloths. I don't want all of these trite things that are great in the home, but aren't actually sharing information about wellness. So she's bringing in tons of different practitioners from across different modalities to really show up and build this collective energy around supporting vulva owners in their holistic health. And I'm really, really excited about that. So all of the details will be over there too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we've got like Ayurvedic practitioners, we've got counselors focusing on tons of different specialties. I will, of course, maybe have some Okanagan Joy there to try in case you are wondering what it would be like to have some of the world's best lube. And then we can send you on over to Intimate Wellbeing to grab for your purchases.
I love it. Okay, let's get our social medias.
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Fraser Valley Sex Therapist, all one word. Facebook actually is separate, but Instagram is all one word. My website is fraservalleysextherapy.com. And I have my own little page over at Intimate Wellbeing that has tons of my favorites. And if you use code Fraser Valley Sex Therapist on their website, you can get 20% off.
Woo.
Orders over $69.
We are intimatewellbeing.com. And over on Instagram, we are intimate.wellbeing. And we should note, based on our inability to do a lot of the advertising, we have a very, very, shall I say, incentivized newsletter list whereby there are not advertised savings and bundles that we will push out through our email because we can. And so the followers of our email, which the link is in our link tree, we highly recommend that, we can put out some ads and this and that on the social media, but those who follow us really have an advantage and additional savings.
There are VIPs.
You're in my brain. I was like, VIP.
Such good savings.
And of course, in our link tree, there's the link to the seminars, the link to our website and everything. So on Instagram, it's intimate.wellbeing, all one word.
Perfect. All right, listeners, viewers, you heard it. Go give all these beautiful women a follow. Check out their content. But like the lady said, also click the links because then you'll get more access to some of the stuff that the old advertisers don't want us to know. And we need to know because it's good stuff. So make sure you give them a follow.
Fuck the patriarchy when we can go and do what they tell us not to do. Yeah.
I love it.
Whatever we want.
Yeah. And you can't stop us. Oh, I love it. I'm here for the woman power all day, every day. So want to express my gratitude so much to all three of you. Like, this was so much fun. I am so grateful that you've taken time out of your schedules to meet with me and just to give such amazing information to our listeners and viewers, and just for doing what all of you do. Like, let's keep breaking the barriers, getting that joy and all the beautiful things. So much appreciation for all of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
Awesome.
We'll toast the lube to you.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love it. So thank you so much, listeners, for tuning in. As always, go over if you want to check us out on social media. It's just the Tea with KG, Instagram, Facebook. Make sure you enter our giveaway. So DM Shauna or myself, and you could win the amazing book and lube. It's the unicorn of lube. You want it. You need it. It's beautiful. So you have until October 1st. Just DM us, find your joy. We're all about the joy. So I want to wish love and light to everyone as always. I hope you have an amazing day, night, whatever time you're listening to this. And remember, find your joy.